Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday stream. Every Tuesday we come out here and show off all the cool new books and merch that we got in. Make sure you guys are following us on all social medias. Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. We don't have many. I put out all the updates there now. And guys, if there's any questions or concerns, make sure you email me on anything that is involved with your pull list. There'll be a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to be posting on our Instagram as we get new merchandise as we head into the holidays. So you always see updates and lookouts there for signings, sales, all the cool stuff that we do in town, because we have like a Miracle on Main that happens in town, and yeah, they'll all be posted on our Instagram socials and all socials. So check out there. So let's just jump into this week. We have Alien vs. Captain America from Marvel Comics. I love this thing that pack out of this. Alien vs. Captain America is set during World War II as the Red Skull and Baron von Strucker. Really cool. Nod real quick before I jump into the book a lot. What's really cool about this book is it takes a bit of real world history stuff where Himmler, and which was the right hand man for Hitler, went out and like scoured the world for like real occult stuff, and that became the basis of a lot of stories. This takes us and adds the Alien franchise to it. So does this book, without spoiling a lot of issue one, it's a really cool opening. It feels like a movie, as it's a great setup. But what happens is it ties into a lost inhuman royal family, which is cool because it plays the occult elements of Baron Strucker and Red Skull trying to get a weapon to defeat the Allies in World War II. Really cool book. And then it goes crazy after that. It's a great book if you love the Alien franchise, if you love Captain America, if you like sci-fi, World War II historical pieces. It fits all that in a nice, neat bubble. And plus, the art's gorgeous. And watching Captain America fight xenomorphs in the battlefields of like France is wild. Another historical historical fiction book is Circus Maximus from Madcave Studios. Circus Maximus is about a young slave who is then brought into the gladiator rings. That's the reason why it's called Circus Maximus. If you guys don't know, in reality, Circus Maximus is the name of the Coliseum. That's where all the gladiatorial games took place. This is about a young slave who has to actually deal with this after he's blinded by Nero, who was out on an escapade just hunting down slaves. Really weird, but it's really cool is that it's a cool. It's not a real story, but it takes the part of the weird fictional history of Nero and adds like an actual story that ties into real world effects. If you like history, if you like Roman gladiator stories, if you like the movie like The Gladiator, this is a great comic pickup, and it's just a really cool story. Next up is Crownsville from Oni Press. Crownsville is based on a real place. So Crownsville is, I forgot what state it was in. It's a former mental asylum that closed out only in 2004. But there's not a single, like, there's maybe one or two survivors that actually made it out of the asylum. Most of anyone that was ever brought into the asylum died in the asylum. So it's one of the most haunted places in America type of thing. And this is a book about it. It actually deals with a cop who goes from being a cop to being like a security guard after some bad stuff happened in his life, and now gets to be a security guard in this haunted asylum. Really cool, but it does deal with things like racism, and it deals with segregation, and because Crownsville, the asylum was built as a all-black hospital during segregation, so all the patients there were black, but they were all mistreated by the all-white staff. That was it, and they would do things like illegal surgeries and experiments on the people there. That's the reality of the stuff. Really dark. Sometimes history is dark and weird. But what's great about this book, it takes that element and adds a supernatural element as this gentleman dealing with these ghosts of these spirits of all the victims of Crownsville. Really cool, really dark. If you like horror stories, if you like paranormal history stories, really great. And like I said, this has a real world element to it. You can actually go to the actual place in real life and look it up. It's really cool. It's really dark. If you like horror stories, definitely grab this book. Next up is KO Knightfight. Guys, spoilers for KO #1. Something happens. I won't say exactly what happens, but something happens to Batman in issue 1. It's on the internet, so don't worry about it. But read KO before you read this. Something happens to Batman, and now he has to travel, kind of as a secondary round by himself through a bunch of different Earths in which his Robins have now become Batman, and he has to fight all his Robins. So whether it's Dick I know in this issue it's going to be Dick. Issue two is Jason and Dick, and then Tim later on. and eventually you meet Damien. They all have really cool redesigns, really cool story. This is a Batman family story. I wish they did a little bit more, but it's about the Robins. There's a really cool Easter egg in this issue with Dick Grayson and his Robins and his Robin army. If you don't know, they're based on different characters that have been Robin before. One's Carrie Kelly, one's Duke, one's Azrael, and I always forget the fourth one in this book. Anyway, really cool. If you're reading DCKO, grab this. It's a cool book. It doesn't interrupt Batman, so you can read Batman without interrupting this. Really cool. Plus the art's Dan Moore, so you gotta grab it. Next up is from Dynamite Comics is Dynamite Blood Red. Spinning out of the original Dynamite story, which is about a zombie plague. This is a recontextualizes it as a plague that only goes after men. So what happens is women can get the virus, but they don't come back from the dead. Men get the virus and they come back from the dead. And so now all survivors are women as they try to survive in a world where all men become zombies if they get this virus. Also, it pulls in the aspects of the original Project Superpowers team and what Dynamite was building up during Red Sonja Superpowers and Vampirella Dark Powers. So it's really cool combination of all that. Mixed with a cool zombie story. So you see characters like Miss Fury, Vampirella. There's a cool surprise twist character that shows up at the end. And so there's all these cool like pulp heroes surviving this like, really out of control zombie apocalypse. Led with a full female force. Really cool if you just like zombie stories. If you're reading Marvel Zombies, you can read this. It's great. If you want more scary stories, you guys can grab this book. It's a fantastic read. Next up is Echo, Secret of the Truth from Marvel Comics. Echo, Secret of the Truth is the Marvel Voices book for the month. If you guys don't know, Marvel Voices is a podcast / printing line in which they focus on normally like marginalized groups of characters. What they've been doing lately, it's been doing one-shots around those characters. Last month it was White Tiger. This month it's Echo. Really cool. I like that aspect instead of doing it as a full anthology of various people that fit a various group. These are really cool, showing a spotlight on certain characters. This sets up Echo going forward. These are also in canon. They've made these in canon stories now, so this is great. So if you liked her in Daredevil and you liked her in the Echo show, there's a cool way to get to know her now in comics. They also give her a new power set to go along with her powers that are in the MCU. And also differentiate her from that character. Really great story. I know a lot about her from the New Avengers run from Bendis. But it's cool to see her in the show. But also it's really cool to see her as just a solo character. Cause I didn't get to read her in Daredevil a lot when I first started reading comics. Really cool book. Definitely grab this if you want a cool one-shot to grab. Next up is Harley and Ivy. Harley and Ivy, Lives and Crimes. This is a cool romance story. This miniseries is just the whole thing about this miniseries. It just tells you how and why Ivy even got together. Going back to their first meeting when Harley was still working with Joker. It will bring you up through that entire encounter and a little bit forward into time. So it's a story that was never told, but kind of just like, hey, they like each other, and we didn't know why. This kind of sets up the building blocks of like how and why. It's like the Batman Catwoman story where whether it was the boat or the alley story, it's this. This is their like first time meeting and falling in love story. Really cool. If you're reading Poison Ivy, if you're reading Harley Quinn, you should definitely grab this book. They are both in each other's books, so you should definitely grab this book. Next up is No Place from Ignition Press. And I've got to say, Ignition Press has been putting out some really cool books lately, and I love this book. Really great. So, if you like things like Wizard of Oz or Peter Pan or Alice in Wonderland, they all happen in this universe. All taking place from a thing called No Place. They specialize in taking people that have traversed Earth into these other pocket dimensions that have become saviors. And their job is to make sure these guys, make sure these chosen ones can work together, and also make sure incursions and dark worlds don't invade Earth. Really cool premise. Love it. It takes the place of a girl who was a former chosen one, who now has to struggle with trying to find her place in reality when she just magically comes back after being years in this magical world and doesn't know what to do. And it's a really cool like hero's journey mixed with sci-fi, mixed with like cool like old school like novels. I love this book a lot. It was a surprise hit for me. The art's killer. The story's amazing. You just definitely pick this book up. Yeah, definitely grab this book. It's fantastic. Next up is Planet She-Hulk from Marvel Comics. Planet She-Hulk spins out of the Imperial. If you guys don't know, before you read this book, read Imperial, and then read Imperial. Read Imperials 1, 2, and then 3, and then Imperial. Planet She-Hulk, Imperial 4, and then now the miniseries comes out. That's kind of the reading order. But don't worry, if you didn't read Imperial, it doesn't matter. It gives you a full breakdown in the book, which I love when comic books do that. Spinning out Imperial, She-Hulk is stuck on Sakaar while Hulk's out in space doing stuff. It was supposed to be 5 days, and now she's been there for almost a month. Really great. They do like a cool like fourth wall breaking nod from John Byrne stuff, which I love a lot. The book is all about her being like kind of a guest on Sakaar, where she tries to figure out like, hey, Sakaar has a big legacy for the Hulks, and she has to figure out her legacy to them between their cousins, I guess. Her cousin and her cousin's kids, and what they mean to Sakaar as a whole, and what she means as Hulk on Sakaar. Really cool. It's funny. It's dark, and also there's a murder mystery through the entire thing. So it's Jen trying to solve a murder mystery with some comedy stuff, with some barbarian action. I love it a lot. You should definitely grab this book. Next up from Dynamite is Thundercats Pumra. I'm going to mispronounce that. Pumra. It's a Thundercats name. It happens. It's animal that sounds like an animal. It's a big cat. There's a mispronunciation of Puma. Anyway, this is a one shot. The Thundercats have been doing a bunch of one shots. Last week it was Chitara Worldbreaker. This week is Puma. Expanding on the lore from things like Thundercats Lost and the main Thundercats book. But what's really cool is they give spotlights to all these characters. I think that's really cool that they've been doing that. That doesn't interrupt the actual book. So if you're like, oh hey, I want to know a little bit more about these characters, this is a great way to learn. Fantastic story, cool one shot, deep, sad, depressing revenge story. Love it, and how revenge doesn't matter, and how revenge should matter. It's a really cool story. If you are reading Thundercats, you're gonna get a lot more out of it. If you're reading Thundercats Lost and Thundercats, you're gonna get a lot of stuff out of this book. As you can see, like a lot of these one-shots are setting up things that have happened in the past that set up the big story that was happening in Thundercats and Thundercats Lost and the new Thundercats book coming up later. Love this. If you're a Thundercats fan, definitely grab this book. And finally, for our singles, we have Space Scouts from Dark Horse Comics. I know, big size, weird size, not even magazine size. It's a mix between Legion of Superheroes and like weird reality TV stuff and like reality TV contests. So what happens is if you are selected for being a weird type of mutant, you're brought and invited to some other universe to survive trials to become a member of Space Scouts. Think Legion of Superheroes, think Green Lantern Corps. And then from there, your planet becomes royalty. Because part of a kingdom, becomes a kingdom, you become royalty if you like survive and make it to the end of the competition. But on the outskirts, it's a big reality show TV. Whether or not these games are rigged, we'll find out as the story goes along. Whether or not the people should be really part of this, really, it's a really cool dynamic. What was Space Scouts and what became Space Scouts, and it's like how this one girl who's like, I don't belong here, but all of a sudden still, every time she fails, she still seems to stay in the competition. Really cool idea. I love the idea that like, hey, not everything is as shiny and bright as you think it is when you're watching your heroes on TV. Really cool concept. Plus, it has real world ramifications for them surviving, whether or not they make it to the end of the competition for the people of that planet, and like how to be a hero when everything seems to be rigged. Really cool story. Love the concept. Just not crazy about the size. Always weird when they do that. Anyway, love this. Anyway, we are moving on to our trades. We have 2 trades this week. We have Star Wars Jedi Knights. This is a prequel set for the Star Wars era during the High Republic, as we jump to not even the High Republic era. It's actually right before the main Star Wars book with Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan and Yoda as they are on the console dealing with all the weird messes that have been going around the galaxy before all the start of things like Phantom Menace happened. If you want more Star Wars and some older Star Wars stuff that you can't get anywhere else, I love these books. They add a lot of canon. They add a lot more story and context to characters that we may not see later on, or cool fan favorites. Definitely grab this book. And finally, for our trades, we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Deadpool in Pools of Blood. This was the crossover. Really cool. I like the crossover because one of the homage covers was the homage to Punisher's first appearance. But they are fighting against each other to figure out what happens to a weird artifact, because he's hired to go hunt down Miles, and Miles has this really artifact. Really cool story. There's a lot of nods to the Deadpool story. Like I said, he was doing Deadpool Inc. before that. So it's really cool to see like Deadpool and Miles team up and fight against each other in the cool classic stuff. And plus, having Deadpool, a veteran character, teaming up with a younger character, is always really fun when they kind of try to bounce off each other but don't work. And finally, for our guys, we have for our merch, we have the Infernal Hulk book, comic box. Infernal Hulk hasn't come out yet, but Infernal Hulk is replacing Incredible Hulk. This is a cool graphic box. This is the cover of cover A for issue 1. And we have 1776. Again, another miniseries that hasn't come out yet. I'll talk about the miniseries when it comes out. But a really cool graphic box that we got in. Guys, that's it. You can check us out on our website, androidscomics.com. We're putting stuff on there all the time. Check us out on our Instagram at androids_comics, our X, Androids Comics, and our Facebook page, Androids Amazing Comics, on there, and Androids Amazing Comics on YouTube. And guys, I'll see you back here next Tuesday around the same time. See you then. Bye.